Learn English with English Thing Lab.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Today we're starting a very famous story, Harry Potter. But don't worry. We're going to tell the story in simple English, slowly, clearly, and naturally.
So just relax and enjoy the story.
Harry Potter was a young boy. He lived with his aunt, uncle, and cousin. Their names were the Dursleys. The Dursleys were not kind people, especially to Harry. His uncle was loud and angry. His aunt was cold and strict. And his cousin, Dudley, was spoiled. Very spoiled. Harry's life was difficult. He did not have a normal bedroom. He slept in a very small space under the stairs. The room was dark and tiny. There was not much inside, just a small bed and a few things. The Dursleys treated Harry differently. They were nicer to Dudley. They bought him many gifts. They gave him good food and nice clothes. But Harry usually got old clothes. Sometimes Dudley's old clothes, very large clothes that did not fit him well. Harry did not understand why the Dursleys disliked him so much. They never talked much about his parents. Harry only knew one thing. His parents died when he was very young. The Dursleys told him it was a car accident. But somehow, Harry always felt there was something strange about the story. Sometimes strange things happened around Harry, things he could not explain. One day at school, Harry was being chased by some boys. He suddenly jumped and somehow ended up on the roof of the school building. Another time, his hair became short again overnight after a terrible haircut. The Dursleys did not like these strange things. They became nervous when something unusual happened. And Harry noticed something else too. Whenever he asked questions about his parents, the Dursleys became uncomfortable. So Harry slowly stopped asking. Years passed. And then one morning, something strange arrived. A letter. It was addressed to Harry, but not like a normal letter. It said, Harry Potter, the cupboard under the stairs. Harry looked surprised. How did someone know where he slept? Before he could read the letter, his uncle quickly took it away. Harry watched carefully. His uncle looked worried, very worried. The next morning, another letter arrived, then another, and another. Soon, letters were everywhere, coming through the mail slot, through the windows, even through the chimney. The Dursleys panicked, but Harry felt something different. For the first time in his life, he felt curious, excited, like something important was about to happen. And he was right, because very soon, Harry Potter's life was going to change forever. The letters kept coming every day. The Dursleys tried everything to stop them, but it did not work. Uncle Vernon became more nervous each day. He shouted a lot. He closed the windows. He locked the doors. But the letters still arrived. Finally, Uncle Vernon decided to leave the house. He wanted to hide from the letters. So the Dursleys took Harry far away. They traveled for hours until they reached a small old house near the sea. The weather was cold and stormy. There was strong wind outside and loud rain. The house was tiny and uncomfortable, but Uncle Vernon thought, no one can find us here. That night, Harry could not sleep. The storm outside was very loud. Then suddenly, boom! Someone knocked on the door. A very heavy knock. The whole house shook. Dudley screamed. Aunt Petunia looked terrified, and Uncle Vernon slowly walked to the door. He was holding a gun. His hands were shaking. Then, crash! The door opened violently. A giant man entered the house. He was huge, very huge, with long hair and a large beard. Rainwater covered his coat. The man looked around calmly. Then he smiled when he saw Harry. "Harry," he said kindly, "at last." Harry stared at him. He had never seen anyone like this before. The giant man introduced himself. "My name is Hagrid." Then Hagrid looked at Harry carefully. "You look just like your father," he said, "but you have your mother's eyes." Harry felt confused. No one ever talked about his parents. Hagrid sat down and gave Harry a small birthday cake. "Happy birthday, Harry." Harry looked surprised. "It's my birthday?" he asked. The Dursleys never celebrated Harry's birthday. Sometimes they even forgot it completely. Then Hagrid said something strange, something impossible. "Harry, you're a wizard." Harry blinked. "A what?" "A wizard," Hagrid repeated. "And a famous one." Harry could not believe it. Magic was not real. Wizards were not real. But Hagrid spoke very seriously. Then he explained everything. Harry's parents were wizards too. They did not die in a normal car accident. A dark wizard named Voldemort killed them, but somehow, when Voldemort tried to hurt Harry, something happened, something mysterious. Harry survived, and after that night, Voldemort disappeared. "That's why everybody knows your name," Hagrid said. Harry felt overwhelmed. His whole life suddenly seemed different. Everything he believed before was changing. Then Hagrid gave Harry the letter, the same letter Uncle Vernon tried to hide. Harry opened it slowly. It was an invitation to a school called Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. And at that moment, Harry realized something incredible. He was not ordinary, not at all. The next morning, Harry woke up and looked at the letter again. Hogwarts, a real school for magic. It still felt impossible. Hagrid smiled at Harry. Then he said, "We have a lot to do today." Harry needed books, school supplies, and a wand. So Hagrid took Harry to a secret place in London, a place hidden from normal people. First, they entered a small pub called the Leaky Cauldron. From the outside, it looked old and quiet. But inside, everything was different. People looked at Harry with surprise. Some whispered his name, others shook his hand. Harry felt confused. Why did everybody know him? Then Hagrid led Harry outside to a small wall. He tapped some bricks with his umbrella, and suddenly the wall opened. Harry's eyes became wide. Behind the wall was a magical street. Diagon Alley. It was full of strange shops, owls, brooms, wizard clothes, and magical people everywhere. Harry looked around in amazement. He had never seen anything like this before. First, Hagrid took Harry to a bank called Gringotts. But this was not a normal bank. It was run by goblins, small creatures with sharp eyes and strange voices. Inside the bank, they rode in a fast cart underground. The cart moved quickly through dark tunnels. Harry held tightly to the side. Finally, they stopped at a vault. Hagrid opened it. Inside, there were mountains of gold and silver coins. Harry stared in shock. "All of this belongs to you," Hagrid said, for the first time in his life. Harry realized his parents had left something for him. After leaving the bank, they bought school things: books, a black robe, a cauldron, and an owl. Harry chose a beautiful white owl. He named her Hedwig. Then came the most important moment: the wand shop. The shop was small and quiet. Thousands of wand boxes covered the walls. An old man named Mr. Ollivander greeted Harry. He looked at Harry very carefully, almost strangely. Then he began testing different wands. One wand made sparks fly. Another shook the room slightly. But finally, Harry picked up one wand, and something changed. Warm light filled the air. The wand felt perfect in his hand. Mr. Ollivander looked surprised, very surprised. Then he said quietly, "Curious. This wand has a brother." Harry listened carefully. "The other wand," Mr. Ollivander continued, "belongs to Voldemort." The room suddenly felt colder. Harry did not fully understand yet, but he felt something important. Something deep and mysterious connected him to the dark wizard. A few weeks later, it was finally time to leave for Hogwarts. Harry stood at the train station with his suitcase and owl. But there was one problem. He could not find platform 9 3/4. There was platform 9 and platform 10, but nothing in between. Harry looked around nervously. Then he heard a friendly family nearby talking about Hogwarts. A red-haired woman smiled at Harry and gently explained the secret. "You just walk through the wall," she said. Harry felt nervous, but he took a deep breath, grabbed his suitcase, and ran toward the wall. And suddenly, he was there. Platform 9 3/4. The Hogwarts Express waited beside the platform, large, black, and full of steam. Harry smiled. His new life was finally beginning. Harry stepped onto the train slowly. Everything around him felt exciting and unfamiliar. Students were talking loudly, laughing, carrying bags and pets. Harry walked through the train, looking for an empty seat. Most compartments were already full. Finally, he found one. He placed his suitcase down and sat near the window. Then the train began to move, slowly at first, then faster and faster. Harry looked outside quietly. The city disappeared behind them. Soon, there were only green fields and open skies. After some time, the compartment door opened. A boy with red hair stood there. "Is this seat free?" he asked. Harry nodded. The boy smiled and sat down. "My name's Ron," he said. "Ron Weasley." "Harry Potter," Harry replied. Ron's eyes became wide. "You're really Harry Potter?" Harry still felt strange hearing that. People reacted like this everywhere, but Ron was friendly and easy to talk to. Soon, they were laughing and speaking naturally. Ron talked about Hogwarts constantly, the teachers, the classes, the houses. Harry listened carefully. Everything sounded magical. Later, a girl entered the compartment. She had thick hair and carried many books. "Have you seen a toad?" she asked quickly. A boy named Neville lost his toad. Then she looked at Harry and Ron. "You should change into your school robes soon," she said confidently. Her name was Hermione Granger. She sounded very smart, very organized. After she left, Ron whispered, "She's a bit scary." Harry laughed quietly. As the train continued moving through the countryside, Harry felt something new. For the first time in his life, he felt like he belonged somewhere. Hours later, the train finally slowed down. The students became excited. Everyone stood up and grabbed their things. Outside, it was dark now. The castle lights shined in the distance. Huge towers stood above the lake. Harry stared silently. Hogwarts looked enormous, beautiful, almost unreal. Then Hagrid appeared again. He shouted loudly, "First years, over here!" The new students followed him down a small path. Soon, they reached boats beside the water. Harry sat in one boat with Ron and Hermione. The boats moved slowly across the dark lake. As they crossed the water, Harry looked up at Hogwarts again. The castle lights reflected on the lake. The whole place felt magical. No more sleeping under the stairs. No more cruel Dursleys. A new life was beginning, and Harry could feel it. And that was the beginning of Harry Potter's journey. A boy who once lived in a small room under the stairs was now standing in front of the most magical school in the world.
What makes this story so special is not only the magic, not only the spells or the castle,
It's the feeling of discovering a new world, a place where you finally belong.
Harry spent most of his life feeling unwanted and different. Then suddenly, everything changed.
He found friends, a new home, and a completely different future.
And maybe that's why so many people connect with this story. Because deep down, many people want the same thing.
A place where they feel accepted, a place where life becomes bigger, more exciting, more meaningful.
And even though this story is about magic, the emotions feel very real. Friendship, fear, curiosity, hope.
That's why Harry Potter became more than just a book. For many people, it became part of their childhood, part of their imagination.
And today, You experienced this story in simple English.
So hopefully, you enjoyed the story and learned naturally at the same time.
In the next episode, we may continue Harry's journey at Hogwarts and meet more magical characters.
Thanks for listening.
See you next time.
Good night or good day, wherever you are.